welcome to Trick or Treat. My name is Mike Mayone. I'm the host of Trick or Treat, and welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. You know, we really should rename the show Trick and Treat because we have both in the show. We have lots of tricks and lots of treats. And today's big treat is going to be an interview with Mario, the Maker Magician. And if you know Mario, you know this is going to be one treat for a show. He's great. And we have lots of other silly stuff to start the show off. In fact, we're going to start right now with a little bit of brain candy. Yes, now brain candy, so you know, is one magic effect that has been created by Geoff Williams and Scott Franz, and they do this trick with no camera effects and all in one take. So take a look at some brain candy from Geoff Williams and Scott Franz. I agree. That was cool, wasn't it? Oh man, I have no idea. I have no idea. And I know lots of magic and I have no idea. So let me just tell you, that's brain candy for you. Hey, hi, Cheryl. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're out there watching, well, say hello. Say hello. We love to know you're out there. So do say hello. Do say hello. Hey, you know, we added a new segment a couple of weeks back, and I think you're going to enjoy this bit. Yes, it's the Monty and Walker Minute, just a bit of comedy.
Sweetheart, I have something very important to ask you. Will you spend the rest of your life with me and be the mother of my children?
Yes!
Oh, come on, they're waiting to meet you.
Oh, they're silly guys, aren't they? Hey, that's from the Monty and Walker show, and you can see more of Monty and Walker at montywalkerproductions.com. And I think you should go there. They're funny guys, and they've been putting on some really hysterical little bits. So it's fun stuff. Go take a look, and we'll have more next week. We'll have more next week. Hey, Cheryl, thanks for Linda Robbins. Hello, it's good to see you here, and Rich, I see you're here, and Sam, hello to all of you. Thank you for watching. As I said, we have a great show planned because we have Mario, the Maker Magician, on the show in a little bit. But first, everybody's favorite dead mentalist. It's time for Alexander.
Greetings, it is I, Alexander, the man who knows. Many people have asked me how I became the man who knows. When I was a young lad, I was traveling in the Far East. I was lost for days. I didn't think I was going to make it, and suddenly a vision appeared. That vision brought me to a little village where there was a master, and he taught me the ways of the mind. And now I share that experience with you. So today we're going to try something a little different. I'm going to try to implant a thought into your mind by asking you a series of questions. Don't worry if you don't answer all the questions correctly. But what I want you to do is I want you to think of the first answer that comes to your mind. Answer quickly and honestly. Are you ready? Excellent. What I want you to do is I want you to think of a simple geometric figure. Not necessarily a square, but something else. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take that image and place another simple but different geometric symbol inside of it. You have one? Great. For the next question, what I want you to do is think of the first color that comes to your mind. Now think of a flower that is that color. And for our final question today, I want you to think of a number from 1 to 4. Excellent. So, if you received my thoughts properly, you were thinking of a triangle inside of a circle for the first question. The second question, you were thinking of a red rose. And the number on the third question, ironically, would be 3. Thank you and have a nice day.
Alexander was brought to life by none other than Joe Silkie, a fabulous magician, mentalist, and artist. And by the way, did he get you? If he got you, let me know. Let me know in the comments. He got me for all 3 of those questions. He got me for all 3. Let me know if he got you. Let me know if he got you. Oh, Linda, a pentagon? Really? Oh, my goodness. Blue? Iris? Oh, my goodness. Number 4? Come on now. All righty. Well. Hey, well, if you like Alexander and you want to see more of Alexander, come back next week because we're going to have more Alexander. So do come back. Hey, if you're just joining us today, I'm telling you, we have Mario the Maker Magician coming up in a short while. But first, it's time for
Fact or fake news, fact or fake news, fact or fake news.
Yes, it's time for fact or fake news. And here is the fact or fake news statement. It's for us old fogies. Sonny Fox, who hosted the popular kids television show Wonderama from 1959 to 1967, was also a magician who often performed magic on the show. Is that fact or fake news? If you know whether it was fact or fake news, you may win this super medal. Oh, isn't that a treat? And to win, all you have to do is type in the comments if you think it was a fact or if you think it was fake news. Just tell me and we'll let you know at the end of the show. We'll let you know at the end of the show. And if you're enjoying the show so far and you're watching on YouTube, which some people do, just give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We'd love to get a few more subscribers on our channel. That would be great. That would be great. And don't forget to come back next week. We'll have more. But right now, it's time for a little bit of magic from yours truly. A little illusion with a bolt and a nut and some concentration. And a little bit of magic from me. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you like that. I hope you like that. That was fun. That was fun. That was kind of fun. Hey, did you ever notice how some people do things and, they just don't quite get it right? They don't get it right. Well, that leads us to the next segment of our show today. Yes, it's epic fails. Those times people just don't get things right. Like this young man who is a groomsman at a wedding, and he wants to join the other groomsmen at the top of the base of the windmill. Oops! Ooh. Didn't time that quite right, did he? Hey, how about this grandma celebrating her 102nd birthday? Time to blow out the candles. Oops! Lost a little more there, didn't she? Hey, it's time for everybody to get out of the boat. Boom! Bodybuilding is an interesting sport, and people spend a lot of time and they look at themselves, they take pictures of themselves, they kind of pose with the weights that they're lifting, like this young man. Oh, ouch! That hurt his nose. Now, I'm a photographer, and it's important when you take pictures to think about the background. You're always looking for that perfect background for a photograph. Like the ocean. Here's a young man who went to do a little skateboarding. Pools, they started out west, they started in empty pools, and this young man found an empty pool to work in. Here he goes. Oh, too bad about that. But there's the real crime. Ouch, ouch, ouch. What's next? Oh, talking about pools, sometimes there's a little bit of water left at the bottom of the pool. So if you time it just right, you can run along the side of the pool very close to that little bit of water, like this young man. Around and around and around, and in we go. And now platform diving is a big sport. Usually a big pool, you have a nice high diving board and a platform, but not all pools, certainly in residential communities, have platforms. So some people like to build a platform, like these guys. Some people just cannot resist a swing, a good swing. Look at this lady. Yes, boosh, kaboom. Now, you know what? Nobody wants to put an extra stroke on their card when they're playing golf. And then there's this young man who wants to be the next Evel Knievel. Ah, boom! I just can't figure out what this guy's trying to do. And if you think you know, tell me. Ouch! Hey, trampolines are big, and they're big toys in the backyard. Swing sets, trampolines, and everybody likes to get up as high as they can. So the higher you are, right, the higher you're going to go bouncing back up, unless your legs crumble underneath you. But it's all about how if you can stick the landing. Everybody wants to stick the landing like this young man. Ow! No children for him. But here's my favorite, this young man. Bam! Whoa, right. He is so proud of himself. He got that right. Ba-boom. Well, that's enough epic fails. And that's enough silly stuff, because the main treat today is going to come up right now, ladies and gentlemen. Here is his, and thank you, Katie and Cheryl and Linda, for watching and enjoying those little fails. But here's what you guys are here to see.
You have to do what you love. Everyone says do what you love. You got to use what you have. I can't hear you. Everyone say have fun. What is so funny? Have fun. Across the stage.
and gentlemen, there he is. Welcome, Mario. It is so good to see you. Oh, I think you're muted.
Here we go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Welcome to the show, Mario. Thank you
Thanks so much
much
for having me, Mike.
Oh, I am so thrilled to get to chat with you, Mario. Every time we cross paths, we're both so busy that we don't really have much time to chat. And so this is just great. This is just great because I know you just do such great work. And I know the people who are here watching, they know you do great work too. And that's why they're watching as well.
Thanks for having me, Mike. You know, last time I saw you, you were at Magic Live.
That's correct.
You had a table and you were an ocean of people were around you and you're performing magic, right? What a change of the world, right?
Yeah,
now, ever since this pandemic.
It sure is. That was a really fun conference. We had a great time. And was that the very first convention that you performed at? Or had you performed at
that was my first Magic Live. Yeah, it was a big deal, you know, because, you know, my world is kids and families, you know, and Magic Live, their audiences are all adults, you know, and like all my comedy bits, magic. But it was a beautiful time, and people really appreciated what I brought and stuff. And I had a really, you know, you meet the greats there, right, Mike? I mean, every legend is walking around.
Yeah, and let me tell you, you had no trouble with those big kids like me in the audience. We just loved you. We just loved you, and because you know, and I you know, I don't mean to, you know, just, you know, be dump so many nice things to say about you, but your stuff is so original and so creative that you know, it's in another place. Now, you know, I said when in some of the pre-ops, the previews to the event today, that you were the best magician on the planet, but I didn't coin that. Who coined that?
Oh, the best. Yes. Yeah. I was really lucky. A couple years ago, I got to work with David Blaine, and we did a gig together, and it was a private event in New York City, and there were kids and there were adults, and David needs somebody, you know, for this private event to entertain the kids. And I was really lucky that I got the phone call, and I did a show with him, and it was awesome. It was a really special time. And then we took a photo together, and he put the quote that I've been using for the past 3-4 years: best kids magician in the world. And I take that to heart every day and every show that I do.
Yeah. And I think he's right. So let me tell you that. Hey, I want to start by looking at some pictures with you together. Yeah. And let's take a look at a couple of things, and you can tell me a little bit about these pictures as we look at them.
Okay.
Let's see. It should be this one right here. Oh. Now, it looks like you got an award here. What's the award?
Yes, that's for our local Yonkers Assembly Magician of the Year. It was really special. They're an amazing group out in Yonkers. Actually, my first lecture, Mike, was at the Yonkers Assembly.
Oh, no kidding.
And I did it because a great magician, children's performer, Charlene from Yonkers, he signed me up to do a lecture without telling me, because he knew I would never do it. And but that was the best blessing, because it started this road where I could introduce robotics to magicians like this guy here, Mr. Table.
Let me give you Oh, look at that. That's great.
And so from that journey, from that first show, that first lecture in Yonkers, I was able to get other opportunities, and that's how Magic Live. I mean, that was it. Like, I was able to get to that point where I saw you at Magic Live, where I got to do a lecture there.
Yeah. And, I'm just going to widen out the frame so you can show us the Mr. Table again, because that is really beautiful. Pardon me. That is just an amazing piece of art and technology.
Well, this is inspired by a magician named Del Rey, and he was like he was an entrepreneur he was like a trailblazer with electronics and he had apparently a robotic side table, and that really inspired me. And so this is Mr. Table, and during my live feeds, I have kids ask yes or no questions, and he'll answer. And I'll be like, hey, Mr. Table, are you excited to see Mike Myone? He says yes. He's got the green light, you see. So based on color, like green, yes, red, no, and expressions from his eyebrow, will, you determine what his emotions are,
Yeah.
Yeah,
says you have the coolest things, and in fact, you do have the coolest things. But you build them all, and that's the interesting thing.
Yep. Yeah, these are all 3D printed, designed on a program called Tinkercad. So if anyone wanted to get into 3D design, tinkercad.com is a great free website. And that's a lot of kids, elementary school kids, are learning 3D design on that program. I stick to that program for a reason, because of how simple it is.
Yeah. And that's only one of the many robotic items that you have.
Yeah, you want to see another one?
I do. I'm going to give you the full screen so you have a little more room.
All right. So basically, because of this whole pandemic, I have all these robots that never made it to my show because they're a pain in the butt to set up and like break down. But I have this really cool toy. Check this out. I have a robotic drum machine that does a drum roll. Let me see if I can switch the cameras. There it is. Let's see if he does it. That's that.
That is amazing.
That's a robot drum machine.
That is amazing.
And he's still going. Wait a second. No, stop! Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. 1 second. I gotta see if I could. Okay, he stopped. All right. I got nervous.
Thank you for sharing that. Hey, what's this picture all about?
Yeah. So this winter, Katie and I have been doing magic full time. We have 2 kids. We quit our day jobs almost 14 years ago. Most of our income has always come from private parties in New York City. But the past 2-3 years, we've been really lucky doing small theaters, like 100-seat theaters, and up to 400-seat theaters. And this winter, we had our longest tour ever. We did 2.5 months on the road, paying all our bills, our house, everything, and still being able to do what we love. And we were on such a high, we bought an Airstream camper, So,
is that what that is? I knew you traveled around in the VW bus for a while, and I said to myself, I never saw the interior of a VW bus set up quite so nice. That thing looks roomy.
Yeah, so that's an Airstream Sport. So it's a 16-foot camper, 16 foot, and it's tiny, but it fits all 4 of us. What you're looking at is the dinette there, and that actually folds into a bed for both kids. And then behind the shot is another bed for another 2 adults, and it's got a bathroom. And I mean, think about this, Mike. You're in a Walmart in the middle of the country, you're in a parking lot, and you're eating homemade pasta and sauce, drinking wine in an Airstream camper. I mean, that's insane.
It is, and that's good sauce, because I saw a picture and some video of you making sauce. Was that with your grandma and your grandpa?
Yeah, my grandpa just turned 90, and every August we get together with my parents and we jar a bunch of sauce. And it's a big motivation for us because it's a tradition now, because my kids are 5 and 8, and I want them to remember these sacred small traditions that carried me through my childhood, So. Well,
so when you talk about pasta, homemade pasta and sauce in a parking lot, I know we're talking quality food.
I'm serious. I'm not messing around.
This is you performing an outdoor show somewhere. Tell me about this. Is this just on the road?
No. This is a very old shot. I was really lucky when I moved back to New York in my 20s. White Plains Recreation. Fran Krogan. She runs the rec department. Like she does all the hiring, and I brought in my little portfolio, Mike. I'm like, these are the little shows I've done. And that was the first. She signed me up for 16 public shows, public parks in White Plains. And it was like the best time of my life, because it was the first big kick I got to be in front of a live audience, and where it was like public. You know what I mean? It's different when you do private, because the show ends. Public is different because anyone can come.
And they can leave.
And that was one of the shots. And it was just me trying to find my voice, me trying to find what my story is,
And what's interesting about public shows, too, is you have to keep the crowd there. I mean, they can get up and leave.
Wow.
If you're not rocking, they're going to be gone. They'll go find something
yeah.
else to entertain them. So you have to have a good show if you're gonna
You know how it is. You're like it too. You know.
Absolutely.
You know how it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now this is a slightly different crowd. Look at the size of this audience.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yep, that was almost a year ago. I mean, can't believe it with everything that's happened the past couple months to look at a picture like this, how close the kids are. We had over 1,000 kids. This was in upstate New York. And it was for camps, summer camps, and they all came together and it was magical, you know? I mean, so talk about like these little robots I have. How do we translate and get reaction when you have a crowd that big on this long, wide stage, you know? And that was the kind of stuff I was learning a year ago. And, you know, I was lucky because I had a couple opportunities with David where he let me be on a big stage and do that. And it's a big challenge, and it was a great challenge, and it helped shaped what my show was currently, you know, the past couple months. You know, I rebuilt my robots bigger.
Oh, did you
and
really?
My key routines that were good, you know, I made them bigger so they were more visual and you know, just constantly trying to grow, you know, and be flexible.
You know, for those who don't know, Mario shares his knowledge about robots with people who are interested, and I know that we had you come to our little theater and do a workshop not too long ago, and and you taught us all about Arduinos, and I learned a little bit. I made one thing, but you spend a lot of time building robots. That's a fact. That's a fact. Now you have to explain this. This looks like child abuse to me. What's going on here?
That's my daughter Gigi, and I do have a '71 Volkswagen bus, and we did take it on tour. And when Gigi was about 5, 6 years old, I taught her how to change, you know, how to check the oil every day. You know, so we checked the oil in a parking lot. You know, she's our firstborn, and she's our fire. She's our leader. You know, I'm trying to teach her life skills every day. Yesterday we biked almost 2.5 miles. She was, you know, on her little BMX, you know, trying to catch up. Like we're learning, like, you know, so anything that I can do to like kind of have her involved, you know, so that's us. We were cutting apart a electric scooter, a battery powered scooter. We were going to attach it to a skateboard.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. That really is amazing. Now, you don't wear that out to the grocery store. It looks like you could these days, though.
This is pre-COVID. I mean, this is normal attire now, you know?
How old is she now?
She's 8. She's 8. She's going to be 9 in a couple weeks. And yeah, so you know how it is. Making is a big part of my life. Yeah. So kids do what they see, you know. So Absolutely. There's always tools lying around, things. And right now she's obsessed with sewing. I wish I had some of her artwork here. She's been making custom plushie toys all by herself, like cutting. Like I buy sheets of felt by the bolt and embroidery thread, and she just takes off with it. And so it's fun, just like letting them do what interests them rather than me trying to make her a magician, you know, like, you know, so so it's been fun watching that evolve.
But you're teaching them to build things, to make things.
Yes,
and
exactly.
That's and to use your hands and because I mean it's a great lesson. It's a great lesson. Now you're homeschooling your children. You and Katie are homeschooling your children, which you know, I have great respect for you for doing that, because that is a tough job, and frankly, between the magic and the programs and the shows and the schedule, I really can't figure out how you have the time to do that. And yet there are some pretty high standards they keep homeschoolers to. So it's pretty amazing that you're doing that.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. You know, it's our second year doing homeschooling, and it's kind of funny because when the pandemic happened and all the kids went home, we got so many emails like, "Wait, what programs are you using?" You know, like everyone, you know, there's freedom. There's freedom when you homeschool, you know. Like we got to see the redwood trees at Christmas time, you know, like we couldn't do that if we were bound by the traditional school schedule. You know, we got to see Yellowstone National Park. Like we got to see Venice Beach, like, and we're learning as we're driving, you know, like these are things that are powerful that I didn't have as a child, you know, so we're trying to infuse that with education. And it's hard, Mike. I'm not going to lie. We show up to public spaces where we're performing, the kids are upset. We're grumpy. We're trying to balance everything while I'm setting up, and then it's all public, you know? So, you know, you learn pretty quick, you know, to forgive and forget, you know, and we try to teach that lesson among the family because it's a tight knit four of us, you know, all the time, you know?
Sure. So now this is, I know you're holding one of your little robots in your hand, and it looks like you're in the cockpit of a plane or something. What is that?
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever been to this place, Mike, but it's called House on the Rock. It's in Wisconsin. Have you heard of it before?
No, never.
Well, it's the most insane 4-hour theme park museum kind of space. And just outside of it was this hotel, this kind of 70s themed hotel that never got updated. And there was an abandoned plane in the hotel yard, like front yard. And it was like play at your own risk kind of thing. And we took some photos. But anyway, the one thing I'll say about House on the Rock is if you are ever in Wisconsin or ever in that area, it is worth the price of travel to go to House on the Rock. You will not forget it. They have the biggest carousel in the world, Guinness Book of World Records, in that place.
Kidding.
It's just this eccentric artist that just kept building and building and building. And it never ends. So if you get a chance, Google House on the Rock. I'll just let it be at that and just check the images. You'll be blown away by the amount of art and artwork that is there.
Well, thank you for that tip. Now, I see some familiar building in the background of this picture. That's the Magic Castle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Magic Castle. That was my first time at the Magic Castle. So that was 2 years ago. And it was a big deal, you know?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah, it was a big deal because, you know, I'm a children's performer and, you know, they have a Sunday brunch and, you know, it was just, it was special, you know, it was very special. And, you know, there's magicians along the way that always lift you up, you know, and John Armstrong, you know, there's people along the way that just like helped me get to the castle, you know? So that was a fun adventure. And then I got to go back, you know, so we went back last year and it's just fun. It's a fun place. You dress up, you're in another world.
It's just amazing. If you've never been to the Magic Castle, you know, just as a spectator, it's a great place.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just, and as a magician, it is just filled with magic history, and it is the Mecca for magicians. It's just an unbelievable place. Is this this looks like this is the minivan?
Yeah, this is our 71 Volkswagen Transporter. And inside there's Marcel the monkey. He's a robot monkey that was the finale of my stage show. We do like 3 minutes of theater and you know, we took that bus to Colorado to do magic shows, like paid gigs with contracts. We broke down 5 times. We barely made it on time to each gig. It's beautiful looking. People honk when they see you on the highway. It's magical looking, but it is terribly it's not dependent at all. Like you don't go on tour with a Volkswagen bus. You film a commercial with a Volkswagen bus. You know, you don't actually go on tour with it.
It must have been quite the experience. You know, now,
you should have seen me, Mike. I'm like in my suit and tie trying to like figure out why the oil's spilling everywhere. And we're like off the side of a highway. The kids are screaming. There's no air conditioning. We got to make it to a set, you know, in 20 minutes. Like it was. But you know what? Let me tell you something. In those times of vulnerability, that was why the trip was so sacred, is when you put yourself out in the world and you're completely vulnerable and there's no help in sight. The world helps you. I don't care. That's where I believe in the goodness of humanity and society. There was 2, I think they were Marines. They just stopped they were like, "What's up? What can we do to help?" They saw the kids.
Nice.
Another phone. They made a phone call. A guy showed up with a Volkswagen bus. He was in a suit and tie. He got on his hands and knees. He fixed the problem, and boom, we're on the road. I mean, when else do you get to see miracles like that? Never, unless you put yourself out there.
That's called karma. And you give it and you get it. You get it.
Amen.
That's it. And here it is. Here's another shot of that VW bus from the front.
Yeah, there it is.
Which is a great photograph. And Katie takes most of the pictures, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, Katie is the brains behind Mario the Magician, and any photo or media that you see. She does the video editing. She does the social media posts. She is she's super talented, and I feel really lucky every day. I mean, she's gotten offered jobs from other companies to control their social media, and she's declined because she believes in what we do, So yeah, that's a Katie photo.
I was talking with a good pal the other day, Magic Al, because I want to get him on the show, and he's a terrific kids magician, and we were talking about things, and I said, well, Mario has a secret weapon, and that secret weapon, that's his wife, Katie. That's his secret weapon. But she's in the background, but she's the brains behind that outfit.
It's true. I'm not lying. Like I'll tell you the truth. Like I'll never forget the summer before we quit our day jobs, to pursue magic full time. I had a dream in the night. I had a dream of Katie building hands and knees, building a stage out of wood, and I took a step on the stage, and there was an audience, and I woke up, and I think about that dream all the time. The people that help you along the way in life. I mean, they're the most famous people in the world, no matter what. We get caught up with social media and numbers and all this stuff. We forget these simple people that just love us, Yeah, I'm laying it on thick, Katie. All right? I'm laying it on thick.
Hey, here's an interesting shot. And this was when you were on the cover of MUM magazine. Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. That happened kind of recently. I did TAOM, Texas Association. We were in Houston, Texas for their convention, and we just happened to have people that were there that were part of the magazine that saw my lecture, and the timing was right. Like everyone says, timing. It was just a great man. Houston, Texas has amazing magicians. There's a crew there of just some talented people. Yeah.
I was just going to say, they say that's one of the best conventions too, in the States.
Oh.
I haven't, I have these, these little things that you have to accomplish before you're too old and decrepit. And one of them is to do that particular convention, because it's supposed to be a great convention. So you had a good time.
There's a lot of there's certain conventions that really impacted me. That was one of them. The Rangel brothers, Alex Rangel, Danny Garcia's out there. There's like a whole crew. And they just make it fun, And that's where I met Xavier Spade. He's from New York City, but we met in Texas. He was lecturing there too. Atlanta Harvest of Magic, they're another great convention. Small convention, just 200 people. But then you get to hang out with all these legends. That's the best, right?
There's a difference between a big convention and a small convention, but they can both be so great. Big and small.
Yeah, you're right. 100%. And Magic Live has that too. You're just walking down the hall and there's Mac King, Max Maven, you're just like, hey, what's up? It's crazy. Yeah.
Now my God, what a gorgeous theater. That is just one beautiful theater. Where is that?
So this is in Sonoma County, California. If Katie's watching, maybe she'll comment the name of the theater. It's a historic theater they brought back to life. It is in the most beautiful scenic part of California where they make wine. And speaking of Magic Live, the owner of the theater was at Magic Live and saw my lecture. And that's how that show happened. And, it's important to take risks, this was a big risk for us to tour to California. But from those risks came reward. Like Make Magazine, the daughter of Make Magazine, the CEO, was there with their kids. And that's what gave us opportunity during the pandemic. They gave us a call and hired us, but we didn't know that at the time, the Sebastiani. Yeah, the Sebastiani Theater. Oh, it's gorgeous. Just gorgeous theater right in a downtown area. It's like a fairy tale, that downtown. Yeah.
Yeah. it is great how when you know, I always say to my friend, you know, we always say the more you work, the more you work. I mean, it just works that way.
Yeah, you nailed it. Exactly.
The more you work, the more you work. It just happens to be that way. It's just
right.
you just get all kinds of opportunities that you might not get if you know. Oh, this had to be a great experience. And I don't know if people can tell, but of course those are images from PBS. With the Sesame Street show.
Sesame Street, yeah.
That must have been yes.
Yeah, it was special, man. It was super special. It was like one of the most sacred days of my whole career. They wanted to do a segment where they make their own magic tricks, you know, and so they hired me, and it's crazy. Like you said, Mike, you know, you work and then you get work, and I was doing so many private birthday parties. And I happened to do a party for a dad who did lighting for Sesame Street. I happened to do a party for another person who does some type of rec department PR stuff. Like there was a couple connections there that led to that gig. You know, people graduate, they get a master's degree in something, they get a bachelor's. That was like my degree. Like doing that was like confirmation for me that maybe I'm on the right path. And actually, that's Murray Monster on that picture. And Joey Mazzarino is the head puppeteer of Murray Monster. And then the arm of Murray Monster is by another puppeteer, Peter Linz. And Peter Linz was on our show on Friday. He's actually Ernie on Sesame Street. So it's fun to keep these relationships going after all those years. You know?
Fantastic. And here's a picture of your secret weapon, by the way, as well, for people who don't know. That's your wife, Katie, over there. Let me put that on the screen so people
see if I
can
see it.
There she is.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah, that's a great picture. Yep.
And
it was a great day.
Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Now, this looks like I'm reading the type at the very, very top of the screen. It says Maker Faire, and I see that you have ribbons in your hand. What's this about?
Yep. So we're really fortunate. Over the years, Maker Faire, Make Magazine has supported our career so much. We were able to travel a lot. This is in Shenzhen, China. And I got to perform for kids that don't even speak the same language as me, you know? But like comedy is comedy. An adult that like looks like a fool falling all over the place, they laugh. It doesn't matter what language, you know? And it was crazy, you know? Like, so we did a bunch of shows, you know, I brought the robots and it was hard. The first two shows were like trying to figure out like the slapstick comedy, just that was the direction that worked. And I got a few Editor's Choice Awards. They give out awards every Maker Faire, every city that has one. And they were just for like, you know, the robotics and the performance. And it was a big deal. Shenzhen, China is where if you have a cell phone, you have Shenzhen, China. They're built the insides are built there. You know, they have a mall there that has every cell phone component that you could literally build a cell phone by going to this mall. I mean, it's an amazing place. There's a lot of innovation there, and we had a great time. The people were super kind. Yeah.
Now, this is your table, is it not? Let me see. Where is it? There it is. I see that it attaches on the bottom. There's a little place for it to plug into or screw onto the stand, and there's the tripod as well at the bottom. But with all those decals on it, you can barely see that stuff. But you have your whole show in. Can you carry your whole show in one suitcase?
So I have a suitcase and a side bag, like this custom leather side bag. And between those two things, you know, because you know how it is, Mike, you're like me, you live really close to Manhattan, you do a bunch of shows, you got to pack small. I mean, you don't want to take two trips.
No.
You know, like,
no.
So that's just comes from that. And yeah, so there's a little flange that I got at Home Depot. I have a drum snare stand, and then I added the connector there, and it screws on. Yep, and there's the stand, and then it screws on, and then it opens up, and then so now you're solving two problems, you know, with one, and with just the suitcase, you know, so that I can carry it without carrying the legs separate, and it's just clipped on. I have a little leather belt holding the base, and now, you know, that was my old case. I have the same style, but now I have a bigger case for bigger stage shows. So I rebuilt everything on a larger.
Well, it is
scale.
amazing because your show, it certainly doesn't come across as a small show. It's, you know, it's like I keep thinking, oh man, how am I going to make this smaller? Because as I get older, that trunk just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. So,
Right.
it's like I'm looking for how do you make it small, small, small? But your stuff plays so big. But,
Oh, thanks.
not your stuff. It's you that's doing it. That's what it really boils.
No, but I think about this stuff too, Mike. It's like every year, it's like, my energy is what keeps the kids engaged. It's like, oh man, I don't know. I gotta be 41. I gotta be like Magic Al. He rocks it. He rocks it. I love you, Magic Al. I hope you're watching. Legend. Absolute legend.
He would be watching if it wasn't for the fact that this is the time on Mondays that he goes to the hospital and he performs at the local hospital in Nassau County. But he'll be watching the YouTube. Hey, talking about
He's an absolute legend. People
Yes.
like Magic Al, man. You know how many smiles and laughter he's brought over the years to so many kids and inspired them. I mean, these are the people that are so famous to me. I love Magic Al.
Yeah, talk about engaging children. Look at this. Look at the expression on this kid's face. And I just love that because, this, by the way, this was for the performance that Mario did at the Parlor of Mystery. Gosh, it must have been about 18 months ago or last summer previous. It was a while ago already. And man, look at that kid. I mean, he is just loving it. And you get the whole audience up and about. And I have one more picture before I show a little bit of video about what you're doing now, and that's this picture because what I want to share with people who are watching this is how you just get down to the level of the kids. I mean, it's like that's what. I mean, you're connecting with them, not just on a verbal level and a slapstick level. You're down on their level, and it just, I mean, it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
It's a good that picture's good. It's a reminder for me too. Like my best shows are the ones where I ignore the ego in every direction and just remind myself like it's about making kids laugh. Like it's that, and it's so hard. It's not like riding a bike where you just get on the bike and It's like there's so many things that happen in life every day that cause distraction onto what purpose is. Like and that's it. So those are my best shows. Is when I have that, when I have that in check. The second I stand up there, you know how it is, Mike.
Oh yeah.
You gotta have attitude or else like it falls apart.
Oh yeah. Hey, I want to show something that shows what you're up to now, and this is like really amazing stuff. And my mouth fell down, and and my jaw hit the ground when I saw this. It's just absolutely incredible.
Hello?
We're here.
I heard something.
We're in front of you, not behind you, in front of you. The other way. No, not the other way, right in the middle. The middle. Right here.
What is the greatest thing that's ever happened to you, Cora?
Getting a twin.
Are you twins?
Uh-huh.
This is amazing! You both are the same exact age?
I'm 1 minute older than her, though.
Now, I'm gonna actually tell. Wait a second.
Your hat fell off.
Is this my. This is not my hat. Where's my hat? First.
It fell off. Oh, it's right behind you. It's gone.
Okay, sorry about that. Alright. This is so embarrassing. I've been working so hard to make sure that everything works. Is my hat staying on my head?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, what is the most famous person in the world?
You have snot on your hat.
How do we stop people from arguing on Facebook?
You have snot on your face and your head.
Ah! Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario.
Here's my last question. How do we stop?
I could watch that over and over again, and I have. It's just a little bitty clip from the show that you're doing now, which you could tell us about. But it's got to be the most beautiful noise in the world, and that's kids laughing. It's just, I mean, they just, oh gosh, do I love that. Anyway, tell us about that show. It's just magnificent.
Yeah, so Make Magazine, the first week we got back in March from our tour, we were trying to we're freaking out. We lost so much work, just like all performers, and we got a call and they're like, listen, because it was crazy because like, I was like, I'm not going to go live on my page and do magic. I'm not. So I grabbed my guitar. I did a little dance party one Friday night on our own personal page. Kids commented funny words from their parents and I sang along. And then a couple days later, Make Magazine called. And they're like, listen, can you go live for us and just like engage kids? I don't care what you do. And they hired us and we started being part of their kids programming on their Facebook page. And that evolved to us saying we can't go live every Friday because there's internet problems that can happen. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. And we realized the replay is more powerful than the actual live session. So that's when we started engaging, doing pre-recorded stuff. And then we started interviewing kids. Like Art Linkletter, just philosophical questions. Let's see what they got, and then we started mixing magic with that. And now I feel like I have purpose again, like I like this premise of connecting with kids, even though we're not on a stage and we're not in a room that's live. But it works. It works. We can make people laugh. We can inspire people. We don't have to be physically there, It works.
Oh, it's a great, it was it was a wonderful show for many, many years when Art Linkletter was doing it. And he had he was very, very good. And what I just love about this show, your show though, is even though it's questions and you get interesting answers from the kids when you put questions to them, but it's turned around. They're asking you questions, and you told me that you actually have guests that come on the show that the kids can interview as well, which I was unaware of, and I think that's fabulous. Where can we see more of those videos?
Yeah, so if you go to themarioshow.tv, themarioshow.tv, you'll see all of our clips from the past 4 months. And also on Make Magazine, they have a Facebook page. Check it out. Like, this is where I've learned all my robotics. Make Magazine changed my life all the way from 2009, So if you go to Make Magazine's Facebook page, we'll be live this Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time with a bunch of new kids doing new funny antics. Actually, right after this interview, we're going to do our interviews and stuff. And then we get a special guest, and then we have the kids write the questions for the special guest, So like we had Xavier Spade as a guest. He's this phenomenal YouTuber, amazing magician. He doesn't interact with kids often, So it was fun for us to ask him questions from kids because it brought the kid out of him, Cool. And that and that's what it's about, And so we've been having a lot of fun experimenting with that.
All right, hey, look, I know you guys are pressed for time, but this show is Trick or Treat. So have you got a trick or a treat for us today?
I got a trick.
Okay, I'm going to give you the whole screen.
I got a small trick. Let me see if I can do it. I got bubbles. All right.
Bubbles, huh?
Look at this. Look at the bubbles. Mike, I got so many bubbles. Oh, my goodness. Wait a second. I just got it on the lens. 1 second here. I'm sorry. Oh, wait a second. Let me see. Oh, goodness. Oh, got trapped in a bubble. This is crazy.
This is
something I've been doing to my kids' show, and it's been really fun. And you know what? Because it's Trick or Treat, I'm just gonna show you how it's done. It's super simple and super fun, and all you need are some bubbles. And I just got this thing from Micro Center. It's just a magnifying sheet.
How
and
cool.
You just, as the bubbles come down, you tell the kids, oh man, I got some on the lens. And you go to wipe the lens, you put the plastic lens in front. Log it, and then you come back. And
I'm using it.
It's pretty, and it works.
It's brilliant.
You would think something so silly, but anyway, these are my ways of how I can keep the imagination alive, keep the pretending alive, and utilize this new technology to still create some fun magic,
Well, Mario, I don't want to keep you anymore. I know you have kids to interview, so I'm gonna let you go. And with my greatest thanks. Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for spending time with us today. I really enjoyed chatting with you. And we have to get together soon. I want to talk
would
some
love
more.
it.
We want to talk about technology, and I've forgotten half my lessons about the Arduino, so I have to pick the brain.
You're a pro, Mike. Dude, thanks for having me on. Seriously, I love what you're doing. It's always awesome to connect with you, and I can't wait till we gym again.
Okay, take care, Mario. So good to see you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye, Mike.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mario, and wasn't it great that he was here? What I want to do is I want to put his website up on the screen for you so you can see it. That's MarioTheMagician.com. If you want to see more Mario, that's where you go. And look, if you ever have the opportunity to see Mario perform, oh, do go see it. And if you got a grandchild, if you have a child, if you just have a spouse, bring him too. It's a great show. It's absolutely great show. And check out this What If Kids Ruled the World. I mean, it's just hysterical. MarioTheMagician.com. You just definitely want to take advantage of that. Go see him. Go see his website. Hey, I have we had the fact or fake news. So let's see.
Fact or fake news, fact or fake news, fact or fake news.
So Sonny Fox, was he the host of the popular kids show Wonderama from 1959 to 1967, who was a magician and often performed magic on his show? Was he, or was he not? Well,
that's fake news, totally fake news, nothing but fake news.
that is fake news. Sonny Fox did have magic on his show Wonderama, but it was performed by the Amazing Randy, which is something I did not know. But the Wonderama host, who was also a magician, was Bob McAllister. And Bob was a fantastic magician, and many people remember some of the magic that Bob McAllister did, and they may even have some of his magic in a drawer at home, as I do. Because he was a creator and quite an inventor as well. Hey, thank you so much for watching the show. If you enjoyed the show, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe. Subscribe. We could use a few more subscribers. Next week, I'm thrilled. We're going to have Stephen Bargatze on the show. Stephen Bargatze. If you don't know Stephen Bargatze, this is one funny man, and I think he's going to bring the funny with him. So join us next week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you're going to tell your friends about it, and I hope you'll be here next week. So enjoy the magic in your life. Bye-bye.